can't hold on. It's too strong. Help me. Look out, behind the boat. What is that thing? It's massive, watch out. Pull, pull, it's huge. Watch the rope, don't let go. Pull harder, men, heave. It's breaking the surface. Dear God, look at the size of it. Heave, come on, heave. Watch the line, pull harder. We're losing it, steady now. 1, 2, 3, heave. 1, 2, 3, heave. 1, 2, 3, pull. Heave it up faster. Watch the line. It's too heavy. We've got it now. Secure the forward line. Finally. Monster. Hold the line, hold it! It's too strong, look out! Let go! Watch the tail, watch the tail! Bring it up slowly! Steady now! Don't let it swing.
Pull harder on the starboard side.
Watch your step on the grating. Hold the line, hold it! It's pulling us in! Don't let go, dig in! Hold on to the rope. Pull! Heave! Pull it up! Come on, pull! Grab it, grab the line. We got a live one here, pull it up. Hold it, hold the line. It's gonna snap. Look at the size of it. We finally got it. Get it secured now. Pull it up, pull it up. We're gonna lose it! Look at the size of it! now. It's stuck. Watch the line, watch the line. Heave! Keep hauling, don't let go. We're losing him, pull. Don't let go of the line, pull! I'm pulling, hold fast. Hurry up, secure the harness. It's secure, get it up slowly now.
In the middle of the cold North Atlantic, the iron ship Nordheim swayed on the grey waves. The wind whistled through the cables, lashing against the cold steel railings. On the wet deck, a few figures wearing orange, yellow, and blue life jackets stood out against the gloomy sky. They were European fishermen accustomed to rough seas. But today, in their eyes there was not only fatigue, but also fear. A giant rope ran along the deck, sliding through rusted pulleys, taut as if about to explode. Under the murky grey water was something so heavy that the entire ship tilted. The steel winch screamed. The sound of metal grinding together, mixed with the ship's engine growling like the stomach of the ocean, was vibrating. Hands in black rubber gloves tightened the rope. Sweat, rainwater.
Slipping. Hold fast, man, hold fast. Watch the line, move.
Sea water, all mixed together. Orange and yellow raincoats clung to their bodies, soaking wet. Everyone's faces were pale from the cold, but their eyes were bloodshot from tension and adrenaline. They leaned over, putting all their body weight into pulling against the terrifying suction from below. The rope jerked violently. All four strong men were dragged across the icy slick deck. A panicked scream rang out, then was immediately swallowed by the sound of waves crashing against the side of the ship. A wave crashed over, water reaching ankle deep, carrying ropes, hooks, and even pushing heavy plastic barrels. But no one let go of the rope. Every hand held on tight, as if letting go meant drowning in the raging sea. On the side of the ship, when a rope plunged straight into the water.
Get that slack in! Heave now, heave! Watch the line! Almost there, keep it coming!
The sea boiled as if there was a boiler below. White foam. Whirlpools twisted into circles. Every time the monster below struggled, the whole hull shook. The metal groaned. The seagulls circling overhead also suddenly fell silent, leaving only the howling wind and the terrifying sound of the cable springing up. Then from the murky water, a giant black mass began to rise. At first it was a faint grey streak, then a dorsal fin towering over the man, slashing the surface of the sea. Water splashed everywhere. The fishermen's arms trembled with both fear and astonishment. They looked at each other, their eyes full of questions. What the hell is this? The giant shark. Its head broke the surface of the water with a heavy bang. Its sharp, white teeth were exposed behind the curtain of saliva and foam. The steel cable was deeply embedded in the corner of its mouth. Firmly embedded in the thick, rough grey skin. It shook its head. Its giant body twisted. The sea around the ship seemed about to explode. The sound of the water lapping. The screeching of the cable. The roar of the engine. All blended together, forming a chaotic melody of violence and survival. The fishermen had no time to be afraid. They shouted to each other in the wind, "Pull! Pull more! Hold on!" Bright orange life jackets. Bright yellow raincoats. Dark blue jackets covered in sea salt and fish mud stood out against the cold grey steel. Everyone's faces were wrinkled. Their teeth clenched. Each pull made their whole bodies jerk back. Each breath was a hoarse roar in their chests. The rope vibrated violently, sliding through the pull.
Watch the line! Grab the rail, grab the rail!
Causing water to shoot up like wet fireworks. The steel winch roared until it was about to explode. The old iron joints and bolts shook, dropping pieces of rust onto the deck. The ship seemed to be resisting a force that did not belong to this world. The giant shark struggled madly. Each time it swung its tail, the entire side of the ship shook as if it had hit a reef. Seawater splashed onto the deck like reverse rain. Someone slipped and fell, their knees hitting the steel with a dry sound. But the hand still did not let go of the rope. Immediately, the teammate behind pulled back, pulling him up. The whole group continued to pull, like a living chain between people, slowly, extremely slowly but undeniably. The giant shark was dragged closer to the hull. Its head emerged, its eyes black and cold as ice.
Hold it, you bloody bastard! Don't you let go now! I can't hold her much longer. Get the harness on and quick! Don't look at it, just pull!
Ice. It opened its mouth, growling in a bubbling sound, spitting water and thin blood into the sea. Its towering dorsal fin slid along the steel side of the ship, dragging a long, cold trail of water. With each pull, the cable dug deeper into its skin. The fishermen, their clothes clinging to their bodies, their hearts pounding in their chests, still pulled, their gasps, their growls. Their 1, 2, 3, pull, mixed with the roar of the ship's engine. The sound of waves crashing against the side. The cold white light poured down onto the deck, creating harsh light zones. The shadows stretched out, flickering like ghosts in the grey night sea. Then came the moment when everyone felt time slow down. The giant shark, the entire body of a deep-sea monster, gradually...
Heave! Now! Pull, pull, oh! Watch your footing. Hold the line steady. Tie it off there quickly. Watch the waves. Watch the waves. Pull, come on, pull. Almost there. What an impact! Look at the size of it! I can't believe we actually caught it.
It rose from the water. Its tail was still wagging weakly. Water flowing from its fins and gills, pouring down onto the deck like small rains. The cables were taut like strings. The loops of wire dangled around its body, connected to the trembling but determined hands of the men on the deck, in the sound of metal rumbling, in the sound of the engine working at full power, in the sound of howling wind and the roar of the waves. The giant shark was finally pulled up. Close to the side of the steel ship, the fishermen, their orange, yellow, and blue shirts soaked, stood panting, their eyes still fixed on the giant form of the deep-sea monster they had just pulled up with their own hands. The ship's hull was still shaking slightly, as if it couldn't believe what had just happened. The giant shark was now lying close to the ship. Side. Half of its body still floating on the water. The other half pressed heavily on the cold, wet steel deck. Cold air streams cut through the deck, seeping into the orange life jackets, yellow raincoats, and blue jackets that were stuck to the fishermen's backs. The iron winch roared again. Another cable was hooked to the giant tail, and little by little, the shark was lifted up. Seawater fell from its gills, fins, and rough grey skin, pounding on the steel deck like an artificial rain. The deck turned into a puddle of cold water. The white light shining down made streaks of water flash and flash. The fishermen stood around. No one said anything. There was only the steady roar of the ship's engine, the clanking of metal, the sound of the cable being stretched rhythmically. In those weary eyes, there was everything: fear, surprise, exhaustion, and a bit of respect. They were facing a creature that many people had only dared to hear about in legends their entire lives. The giant shark was finally placed completely on the deck. A heavy bang sounded, spreading through the hull, hitting each person's chest like a drumbeat signaling the end of the battle. Some tools hanging on the wall shook, clanging. The deck swayed slightly and then stabilized, as if it had just exhaled after carrying a terrible weight. The lights on the deck were turned brighter. The monster's dark grey skin was clearly visible, covered with long scars, white scratches cutting across its body. The dorsal fin was so large that, if it were to stand upright next to a grown man, it would be taller than their heads. The sea breeze blew through, carrying a salty, slightly fishy smell, mixed with the smell of engine oil and rusted iron, creating a very unique smell of hunting trips far out at sea. The fishermen began to shift from fighting mode to cold work mode. Large knives, long blades, iron hooks were brought out. Raincoats were zipped up higher. Gloves were adjusted. Ropes were arranged in neat loops. In the air still vibrating from the tug of war, a disciplined silence appeared. Everyone knew what to do next. Chalk lines were drawn on the giant shark's thick skin. Knife-touched skin. A light swish sound echoed amid the deep engine noise in the background. They didn't need to say much. Just a look, a nod, a hey, hold that side, was enough. Large, heavy chunks of meat were separated.
I have never seen one this big. How are we going to weigh it back at the harbour? We've just caught a legend.
Each one lifted, placed in ice-lined buckets. Water and diluted blood mixed together, poured down the steel grooves, gradually drifted towards the drain hole, then fell over the side of the ship back into the sea. Each time they lifted a piece of meat, their back muscles tensed, and their hand veins showed through their gloves. Orange life jackets, yellow raincoats, and dark blue jackets were dirty. But each movement was familiar to those who had lived their entire lives at sea. The intense fear of facing the monster had gradually passed, replaced by a quiet concentration. The wind still whistled through the masts on the deck. The seagulls began to echo again, circling overhead. Looking down, attracted by the fishy smell and the small pieces of debris that had been swept to the edge of the ship, the white light
That's the biggest one yet, lads.
Hey, we earned our rest tonight.
on the deck mixed with the natural light of the grey sky, creating a cold, steely light, drawing long shadows on the wet deck. Slowly, the original shape of the giant shark was gone. In its place were rows of metal and plastic crates, bobbing with each wave. The deck began to be washed. The high-pressure hose roared, the cold water sweeping through every corner, carrying the traces of the battle. The pale pink streaks on the steel were pushed into the drains, disappearing into the ocean, which was darkening as the afternoon wore on. A few raincoats were hung to dry on the steel lines. Water still dripping onto the deck. Rubber boots flapped as they walked. A small but clear sound in the stormy air. On their damned, scraggly faces were red eyes, but their gazes had calmed down, less panic, more faith that they had just crossed a boundary. The deck, though still water-stained, was tidier. Wires were coiled. Iron hooks were rehung. Knives were washed and hung to dry. Huge containers of shark meat were secured with rope and chains to prevent them from shifting when the ship turned. Each pull of the rope, each sound of the chain winding, sounded like the last bolt locking the door of the battle just now. At the bow of the ship, the sea had calmed down. The waves were still high, but no longer felt like they were about to drown everything. The horizon was blurred under heavy grey clouds. But in the distance, there was a thin patch of light where the sky seemed to be about to open. The sound of the ship's engine was steady and steady, echoing through the steel hull, reaching the soles of each person's feet. On deck, the fishermen, orange, yellow, blue shirts, leaned against the railing, took a deep breath, exhaling white smoke into the cold air. In that moment, no one laughed. No one cheered. There was only a relieved silence. And a feeling clearer than ever. The sea can give, can also take back. At any time, the giant shark lay still in the cargo boxes on the deck. The terrible, terrifying pull-up only echoed in the screeching of the ropes. The rumbling of the iron winches and the memory imprinted in the hands still numb from the pull. And the ship, carrying the spoils of war and stories that no outsider could fully understand, continued to cut through the waves, heading towards the distance, where the horizon and the grey clouds merged together.